The UK Interior Minister Suella Braverman is in trouble for her comments on a planned demonstration in London on Saturday's Armistice Day. Braverman had criticised the police for not shutting down a pro-Palestinian march. Well, the UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak is now facing mounting pressure to sack Braverman after she suggested that officers play favourites when policing protests. In an article in the paper The Times, Braverman called the rallies calling for a ceasefire in Gaza as hate marches. She further claimed that unarmed police chiefs appear to care more about avoiding flak from tackling such protests than ensuring public safety. Downing Street insisted it had full confidence in Braverman, but said it was investigating how her comments in an opinion piece in The Times were published without its consent. A former police watchdog chief said the Home Secretary's comments had gone too far and were contrary to the principle of police independence. According to people familiar with the matter, the speech was sent to Sunak's office, which requested changes that were not made. Sunak has described a planned pro-Palestinian march in London on Saturday as provocative and disrespectful, and suggested London's Metropolitan Police ban it.
Yeah, this is a decision that the Metropolitan Police Commissioner has made, and he has said that he can ensure that he safeguards remembrance for the country this weekend, as well as keep the public safe. Now, my job is to hold him accountable for that, and we've asked the police for information on how they will ensure that this happens.
However, the police said that the march does not meet the legal threshold for requesting a government order to stop it.
The remembrance events will not be disturbed. Whatever protests and other events go on, we will do our utmost to protect those because they are so critical. People shouldn't be in fear that those are going to be compromised. We will do everything possible to make sure they're not. The second point about protest, though, there will be a protest this weekend. Parliament's very clear about that. The law provides no mechanism to ban a gathering, a static protest, a rally, anything like that. There's no mechanism whatsoever to ban such a thing. And if the organisers want that, then it will happen.
London has seen some of the biggest demonstrations in Europe since the militant group Hamas attacked Israel on October 7th. The police said they are expecting a significant demonstration this Saturday. Well, for more on this, we're joined by Nicholas Nugent from London. Nicholas is a senior journalist and former BBC editor. Many thanks for your time this morning, Mr. Nugent. Let's talk about Suella Braverman. She seems unsackable, but the calls are increasing for Rishi Sunak to take some action. What's your opinion on this matter involving the Home Secretary?
Well, I certainly don't think she's unsackable, but when and whether she gets sacked depends very much on the Prime Minister and his command of the party, because what we're really seeing is a major split within the ruling Conservative Party. Indeed, the word toxicity is being used as to the atmosphere within the party. So that's the more important thing, or at least the thing behind the scenes. The conclusion seems to be that the Prime Minister wants rid of her, but he risks making that split within the party even greater if he sacks her outright. So the compromise being suggested is that she is reshuffled to a less important post, because arguably the Home Secretary, that's to say the Minister of the Interior by another definition, is a crucial person at the heart of government. And she's in that role when we have some major issues. The immediate one, of course, is the protest movement against the Israeli action in Gaza. That's what's coming to a head this weekend. Probably tomorrow, when I think it's the 5th weekend, we have a major pro-Palestine demonstration, or anti-Israel, you could say, demonstration in London. And it happens to coincide with the 11th of November, which is Armistice Day in Britain, when we remember the fallen in the two world wars. And the government was using this as a pretext, or I should say Suella Braverman was using this as a pretext to persuade the police, to ask the police to ban the Palestine demonstration. They have quite rightly refused to do that because they say there's no intelligence that suggests the Palestine demonstration will get violent or provocative. It is, as I say, either the fourth or fifth week when we've had such a demonstration, so there's plenty of experience to run these things. So what you're beginning to see here is a clash between the Home Secretary and the Metropolitan Police. And the Metropolitan Police, of course, are answerable to the Home Secretary. But the question raised by this whole issue is whether the government have the power to ban a demonstration. We believe in the right to demonstration in Britain. It's enshrined in law, and also freedom of expression. And should she have succeeded in persuading the police to ban the demonstration, there would be major questions asked about that. So you're seeing a lot of things going on here. The split within the Conservative Party, the rivalry or competition between the Home Secretary and the police force for whom she is responsible, and then specifically Suella Braverman's disobedience within government. In other words, publishing this article, which was described as incendiary, because amongst other things, she described the Palestine marches as hate marches, very incendiary language. So the split between the Home Secretary and the Prime Minister, which is the question you asked, what will happen to her? And the pundits seem to think she will be moved to a new post or possibly sacked, but more likely moved to a new post. And there's one other event in the next few days that's relevant to all this. Yes?
And Nicholas, I was just going to say briefly, how much of this is Braverman positioning herself for a potential tilt at the top job if Sunak's to go and lose the general election next year?
I think a lot of it is. She's made no secret of her political ambitions. You could argue that she already leads a faction within the party, so she's already garnering support in that direction. Whether she would be successful in taking over leadership of the party after a defeat at the general election, which is widely expected, is quite another matter, because she's made herself quite an unpopular figure nationally. But can I point out this one other event in the next few days that is highly relevant to this? The Supreme Court's decision on Suella Braverman's proposal to move illegal immigrants, those people arriving by small boats on the British shores without a visa, to move them to Rwanda for processing, Rwanda in Africa. And this is, again, a very, very incendiary issue. And the Supreme Court might block it, or they might give the go-ahead. And if they give the go-ahead, Suella Braverman is in a very strong position to implement the policy. If they block it, that's a mark against her, you could argue, because she's so much identified with that policy. So here we're wondering whether Rishi Sunak will make the move, will move the Home Secretary before the Supreme Court judgment next Wednesday. A lot going on in the next few days in London, a lot to watch, and our political future depends to some extent on the outcome of the next few days, and particularly whether the Prime Minister makes a move against the Home Secretary.
Absolutely. Nicholas Nugent, many thanks there for that detailed analysis. I'm sure we'll be coming back to you for more of that in the coming days and weeks, given events that are likely to be happening. Many thanks there. Nicholas Nugent, senior journalist and former BBC editor.